Alright, so not that really is at all noticeable, but I'm doing a redo of the complete July 2024 haul. I just thought there was a bunch of things I thought I forgot to mention. I just overall thought it was a kind of bad cut. Um, the and that's fine because like yesterday's video, still is yesterday's video, was me going over the last of the books. And that is a bit janky, and I forget certain things, I'm going to mention certain things, or the artwork, or whatever the hell. And that's good, that's fine, I don't mind that, I'll upload that cut, because this is the video that I, like, this is everything all at once, all the books. And when I still do those videos, but I still like to do, like, at least have one comic haul per month. And that's how maybe what I should start doing is, like, the 31st of each month, whatever comes in by then, I show off, and then some books come in a bit later. I wait till those come in, and that's when I do my complete haul, and I show off new books. Maybe, but I still like doing the two cuts, and that's a good way for me to remember, oh, I forgot to mention this, so let's do it this time. Because usually the last part of the comic haul and the complete haul for that month are filmed back to back. So without further ado, let's get into it. And I just realized that I kind of screwed myself here. And there we go. I don't know why I had that all the way over there. First up is a book that I've read before. I like doing this where even though the library has it, I like to buy it myself. Now usually that's because, oh, Wayward, Jim Zub, it's the last Jim Zub book I needed. And this is another book where it's the last book by this author that I needed. So it's like, why not get this one? And that is Kinski. This is an OGN, meaning it's all in one. It's not like it was Kinski 1 through 4, 1 through 5, or anything like that. It was what's called an original graphic novel. And also you can tell is probably one of the smallest graphic novels you can ever get from both image and just in general. There's one smaller than this, it's Long Hot Summer, but it's not that much smaller, and actually height-wise it's the same size, but length-wise it's not, which I think is really strange. But this one I really did enjoy. It's written and drawn by Gabriel Hardman, who I really liked. His and his wife's, his wife's run on Planet of the Apes, which I'll be rereading next time I go to the library. The next time I show up the library books, that'll be among the pile. But spit it out. Come on. I like the book. Oh, I like their Planet of the Apes run. I also really like this one. So I had to get this one to own. But this one, it's about this dog. Why am I singing so awkwardly? I said, oh, let me just cut the better cut, and so far I'm like screwing up. This one's kind of like, it said it was like Breaking Bad, and I haven't seen this show, so I can't say if it's like that. But it's basically, you would hear, oh, he's trying to save a dog from an abusive family, or what he thinks is an abusive family at least. And you think that'd be kind of like, just a very not cookie cutter kind of thing, but more in this genre. And it's kind of almost a suspense genre too. It kind of like, it makes a more mundane kind of story really interesting. And that's a prop that I gave it to when I first read it. Definitely recommend. And I think that paying $14.99 for a book that's the smallest size and only has the same page length as other $14.99 books that are, sitting at your average trade size, I think it's a bit much, though. I will give it that. I think it could have easily been $10. It's the smallest size book. They paid less to make it smaller, I'm sure. And yeah, okay, probably would have been $16.99 if it was the same size as your average comic trade, but let's compare it to this one right here. Same price, but it's also a bit taller. But still, this is still not the size right here. This is still not the size of your average comic trade. And this one is Max Smith's Scurry. This one actually came out later than Kinski did. It's actually a very recent trade. It just came out last year. And this is 300 plus pages, and this is like, what, 160, I think? And you can tell they're different size books and tell they're, one's thinner than the other one is. But this is $14.99. This is also $14.99. Now, I didn't pay $14.99 for this. I think I paid, so it was $5 plus $3.99 shipping, so like $10. But still, it's kind of like one of those things where I'm like, why would they have charged that? That's a lot to charge for a book this small. And I hate to say it, but I by an author that no one really knows, also. The next one, as I said before, is Scurry. Another original graphic novel and another book that I've read before. The library had it, but I wanted to own it myself. Now, this is not an instance of, oh, Max Smith also wrote this other book from Image. No, this is the only thing he's done for Image thus far. And sometimes usually the rule is if it started out as, if I really, really liked it, and it's when lasting book I need from that author, I'll get that book. It's that having a Bitter Root. Bitter Root was the last thing I needed from Chuck Brown and David F. Walker. Well, the only thing David F. Walker did was Bitter Root. But Chuck Brown had done 2 other trades I got that month. But then it kind of morphed into, if I really liked it, regardless of regardless of, oh, this last book I need from this author, I'm getting the book. So books like Scurry, what's a good example? Bitter Root, technically no. Yeah, I can't see it. I can't see it here. Moonstruck, technically, I wasn't. I like Moonstruck. Moonstruck, all those other books. Like, it was just kind of like, yeah, it's the only thing I've done for Image, but I still want to own it myself. And now it's pretty much just get everything. Like, Mother of Madness, I would never have dreamed of buying that myself. Yeah, I got it at Used Good, and part of the reason why I got it was not just so I could own it, that whole thing, but also because I wanted to see how Used Good hardcover would come in condition-wise. And it came pretty good. Honestly, better than Amazon sometimes does, with hardcovers, I might add. But Scurry is definitely middle grade. It says 8+, and that is definitely one of those things where it makes sense why they didn't just do an E for everyone. It makes sense why they said, no, this is 8+. So there's a few intense scenes in this book, and surprisingly, like, it deals, and I'm not going to give it away because I didn't know what it was initially. It deals with a very heavy subject. I'm just surprised they actually dealt with. They didn't just kind of, like, sugarcoat or kind of dance around it or what have you. The artwork is also impeccable. Like, this is, like, really good artwork. And I have the book. I have the movie now. I rented it from the library. Last night I went and rented it. I haven't watched it yet, still. But I always said, oh, this is like Secret of NIMH. And it's more just that sense of an adventure with mice or rats kind of thing. And that's what I said. And that's what I said. And that's why I said it. I also think that one of the reviewers said it was very much like Secret of NIMH, or was on the Image Comics website. It was somewhere, I believe it said that it was very reminiscent of Secret of NIMH. I would say at the very least it's reminiscent of. It's not like a direct adaptation, obviously. Neither is it one of those things where... No, I would say if you liked one, you liked the other. But anyways, Scurry. OGN, by the way. Technically, there were 4 digital trades that came out with it. There's 4 of those. But it's a webcomic turned into a graphic novel. And the 4 individual digital trades, I don't know if I still have those. There's $10 each. And this is $11 for everything. It's like not even a pick or poison type of deal. It's you're gonna be an idiot or stupid about it, And of course, if they released, I'm sure they released way before the trade even came out or was even announced. So people just wanted to read it. They got it there, but those people had paid $40 for this. Worth at the end of the day, but still feel bad people only paid $40 for this rather than $11. I mean, and I would say this is worth if you got it. Digitally, or the webcomic is free, I would still say it's worth getting this physically. It's that good. Now, this next one is a good example of I got it just because I wanted it. And this is, or not just because I wanted it, yeah, just because, like, I didn't really like this one, but I just got it just because. And that is Outpost 0, the complete collection. Now, this wasn't a terrible book. I didn't, like, completely hate it, but I thought it was very, very, not basic, but kind of just weird. Kind of strange, and also just felt like it had no real, weight to it, I guess you could say. But I have since read 2 of his other books, one being Avengers Mythos, whatever one he did, and was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, I believe. And then I also read X-Men Origins Phoenix. And he does a really good job of doing those little one-shot type of books that tell a story, but it's all complete. But also, leaves, because it's an origin story, it leaves room for, more. It did leave me wanting more in that case. Like, I wanted to see kind of like an X-Men Origins Phoenix miniseries by Sean Kelly McKeever. Oh yeah, by the way, this is written by Sean Kelly McKeever, and the artist is Alejandro Tefenkaji. So I definitely forgot to do that last time. So it's a good thing I did that. I did the second cut. And also the artwork. Artwork is pretty good. I wasn't like super ranting or raving over it. Kind of just middle of the road for me. And so far, the first two books are written and drawn by the same person. So, there you go. But this one, that was okay. But because of how much I like those other Sean Kelly McKeever books, I think this is worthy of a reread. And because of how much I like those other two books, it's worthy of owning his creator-owned work. At least from Image. I'm getting everything from Image anyways, trade-wise. Every book I get is spent from Image for a while now, like for 2 years. And you don't include the times I got, like every month I got in, not everything Image, but most of them have been Image. Like 1 month I got The Boys omnibuses, I still got Image books along with it that month. 1 month I got Channel Zero by Brian Wood. That's a complete collection. That release is done by Dark Horse, not Image, because originally Image that moved to Dark Horse. But for the most part, it's Image. And that's just kind of a preference of mine. I have had the best luck with Image. When I think of the really, really good books that have stood the test of time and stayed in my memory the longest, that's from indie publishers. Image Comics takes the cake. I'm not including Vertigo. Vertigo is not technically they're Dunyan Rings anyways. It's DC Black Label now. So I don't really include Vertigo as an indie publisher. Because I doubt they gave them all the royalties for their creator-owned work. Yeah, they have freedom, but I doubt they gave them the credit for it. I doubt that they gave them every last cent they owed them when, like, Preacher was made into a TV show, say. Next up we have... Oh, so sorry, and this one collects all 14 issues. The first one that actually has issues in it before. First two were OGNs. Now, this is the size... If a book has to be a smaller size... This is the size I want it to be. It's not too tall. It's obviously not the size of your average trade. Here, I'll compare it to it. Compare it to one here. So here is the size of your average Image Comics trade. You can tell it's different. Now let's compare. You can tell it's different. One's bigger than the other. And then compare it even better compared to Kinski, and it's even more noticeable. But again, all three of these formats, I can read them just fine. Like, the smaller size I can read just fine, but I just don't understand why I have to do that. But there has to be a size I don't mind if it's this size. But like something this is Haunted Girl. The issues that came out, this is a 4-issue miniseries, I'll get all in here. The 4 issues, I am almost positive, were your average comic size. So why did the trade come out, they're like, oh, suddenly I'm going to make it smaller. At least with Scurry, that kind of makes sense. It's a thick book, it's 300 plus pages, and it's a kiddie book, so it makes sense why they make it smaller. And it's also a Skybound Comet not tie-in. It's also their Skybound Comet, not tie-in, imprints. That's the word. It's also Skybound Comet imprints. They want to make them all the same size, and they're all like middle grade and younger kind of books. Like, I think the most they'll do for Skybound Comet is for Outpost 0, which is 14 and up. So like PG-13 and under, or T14 and under. Even then it was like rated T. It was like rated TV-14 for the language. Maybe some minor sexual content, but mostly it was a language. Which even then it was kind of infrequent. But I'd say it's moderate language. Mild to moderate. So, A Haunted Girl. This is written by Ethan and Naomi Sachs, with artwork done by Marco Lorazana and colors done by Andres Massa. This one looks really interesting, though. I really liked Ethan Sachs's Old Man Hawkeye. It was one of those books that I read the first issue of it, and even though I haven't finished that series, I can already say that Ethan Sachs is a really good writer because of that. Just that one book. And also he did... What was that book I read by him? I can remember anyway. There's another one that's by him. He did a What If one shot. I don't remember reading that one. I remember reading that. I remember reading that one, but I don't remember how I felt about that one. But I'll be reading it. I'm reading it again soon. By the way, that pile of books I showed, that was like, oh, this is all the ones. I added a few more to them. So we'll be getting some bonus for comic reviews they didn't know about because unless you didn't see the video in general. But those of you who did, that was when I showed off Ex Machina and the other books. But this one is all 4 issues to collected in here, and I don't know what else Ethan Sachs did. Midnight Suns he did it. I didn't really like that one, so it's not a good example. But I'll be giving that one second chance. But mostly just Old Man Hawkeye. So I had to get this one afterwards. There's always one that I had thought of getting, but once I found out that it was written by Ethan Sachs, it was like even better. And then, where is it right here? So this special edition includes resource help guides from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, which I think is very commendable of them. It's a very nice thing. And that one's $14.99, and it's a smaller size book. I don't get it. I'm not gonna rant about it. It's not like it's a big deal. Not really that big a deal. Next, I guess it doesn't matter for Image. I don't know. Next up, we have Arcade Kings, a book I really just got because I had an extra slot. It was an open slot. I was like, all right, let's get it here. And there was 3 books I got from this third-party seller called Stock and Trade. And it seems like the more books you get from them, the cheaper the overall price is. And that is something that you have to pay extra for shipping. And that is something I think every third-party seller on Amazon should do, as long as they can afford it. Like half-price books, they're basically a monopoly. There's 15,000 half-price books. So many so that I have to remember myself which ones had faster shipping, which ones were slower shipping, because there's so damn many of them. And in Stock and Trade, the more books you got, the cheaper the overall shipping price was, the additional shipping was. Because I did the math and I was like, oh shit, that's gonna be a lot of money. Oh wait, no, it's not. I saved probably like $5, and I was just getting 3 books from the same third-party seller. So I would say that out of all of them, I recommend Stock and Trade the most. And probably Stock and Trade, Wonder Book, Stock and Trade, Why Pay More Online, Wonder Book. It's the 4th one. A half-price book is way at the bottom. I should do the 4th one, or 4th and 5th. Half-price books, Emerald, maybe because they were pretty fast in their shipping, and... Sorry, no, before that, half-price books, Emerald is the 5th one. The 4th one is Majors and Quinn booksellers. And the 5th one is 8 Tracks Media. So, Why Pay More Online, Wonder Book... Why Pay More Online, Stock and Trade, Wonder Book, Majors and Quinn, and then 8 Tracks Media. Those are my top 5. On Amazon, at least. And their website, too. But half-price books is just kind of like last resort. And the worst last resort, but not the best either. Middle of the road. So this is Arcade Kings. Yeah, going back to the actual video. Arcade Kings collects 1 through 5 of Arcade Kings. Written and I believe drawn by Dylan Burnett. No, it's not. Colored by... written and drawn. It's written and drawn by Dylan Burnett, but the colorists are Walter Briamonte and Sarah Antonelli, with color assists done by Simona Ivarato and Sharon Marino. Sure, I didn't punch any of those names. And here's the artwork. It's definitely one that I just got because I was kind of like, you know what, it's a book I've been putting off. I saw it advertised a long time back, and I had a passing interest in it, but it was always that book that was like, if I don't have anything else I want, fine, but otherwise, yeah, we're not going to do that. So, it's one of those things, kind of like I wouldn't say a last resort, but kind of a, to make ends meet kind of deal, I guess you could say. Yeah, 1 through 5, like Arcade King is collected in here. I'm going to show the artwork again, because I didn't show it off. No, I know I did. I'm going to try to show the same page, actually. Definitely, like, frenetic action, it seems to be. Like, that kind of, like, I don't know what I compare it to. Like Scott Pilgrim. Like Scott Pilgrim almost, but it had its own identity. It's not like a complete rip-off or anything like that. Like, no one would say that. Next up is a book that I only heard about because I was shuffling through Image Comics' YouTube channel, and they have the comic trailers, and that is Void Trip, written by Ryan O'Sullivan, with artwork done by Plaid Klaus. With, that's the letterer. I don't usually credit the letterer. I know it's a bad thing, you credit the artist and the colorist, but not the letterer. That's still part of a comic. Honestly, like, you could replace them and you wouldn't even notice. You would not even notice, like, change the letterers between issues. No, I don't think anyone, like, owns letterers. Like, yeah, I like the ones in the Ultimate Universe. It was, it was, like, typed almost. It was typed, not almost. It was typed, but it was lowercase. Like, usually, comic lettering is all uppercase, and it says lowercase. So we'd have, like, Captain America, capital C, obviously, and then lowercase all the rest letters, and capital A for America, and then all the letters were lowercase. I like that kind of lettering. But it's never been like one of those things where it's been a deal breaker for me. Oh no, this book doesn't have that lettering, so I'm not gonna, So it's one of those things I just didn't really consider crediting the letterer. I know I should still credit everybody, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the biggest ones to credit are the writer and artist. So the artwork again, because I got kind of interrupted by that text. Yeah, there we go. There's the artwork. And this one collects 1 through 5. I think that's the average, honestly, because there's some 4-issue miniseries. I don't think any of them were above 6. It's kind of fun. Next up, we have another book that I kind of got. So this one is Antioch by Patrick Kindlon. Now as of right now, physical-wise, I have everything that Patrick Kindlon has done for Image Comics thus far. However, there is it's still not physical, but as physical trades are concerned, I have everything he's done for Image. However, there is a Image Comics anthology series that came out back in 2022, and he did some stories for the anthologies. And it's one of those things where he's done enough to where they could make a trade out of it. Probably maybe even this size of a trade, too. I'd almost say that's too much, but I would almost say, like, that's just enough, I mean. This one collects all 4 issues of Antioch. Now, I still don't have the Image Comics anthology, but I decided, like, if I did that if I made the same rule for Brendan Fletcher, because Brendan Fletcher also did a significant amount of stories for the Image Comics anthology, I might as well do the same for Patrick Kindlon. Both were books I've been putting off for a while, but this one more so than Brendan Fletcher's books. So I decided to hell with it. We're gonna get this book. It's 1 through 4 of Antioch. And what's kind of funny is I have half this book. I had it in floppy form, but they never came out with an issue 3 and 4. And then it was just in trade. So you kind of, actually, I think they have it on the Kindle. Let's see. Because I don't think they ever officially released issues 3 and 4 physically, because they just never came out with them. And by the time that the trade came out, there was still nothing. It was weird. So I think the only way you can get the whole series is by getting the trade. Trade's only $12.99 on Amazon, and it's 1-day shipping too, so you cannot go wrong doing that. Yeah, only the first 2 issues, so you had to get the trade. Which is good to know, because I already had to have a trade. So yeah, they never came out with issues 3 and 4. You get issue 3 and 4 in the trade. Sometimes that will happen. Let's check to make sure. And I'm pretty sure they would not be able to fit 2 issues in here and not have a whole bunch of back matter. It'd be also kind of nice that they made it a bit bigger and they had his Image Comics where it was like a 300-page book trade. I think that'd be kind of good, cool. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it says on the book itself, like 1 through 4, so I cannot imagine that. Nope, wait, sorry. Yeah, it says, because they had the issue 4 cover, which is really weird. That's never released, but they did release it. I was putting issue 4, what it looks like. And I'll show the artwork again, because I'm pretty sure I didn't remember to. Looks like he's got another series coming soon. Carabel. Then the Gehenna book, that's not permanent image, doesn't look like. It's Mocha Monster. It's weird they consider Frontiersman and Gehenna to be from the same thing. Maybe it's an imprint, I don't know. And then here's the artwork for Antioch. It's pretty interesting. It's a spin-off to Frontiersman, so I kind of also get that because of that reason too. But here you go. He also seems to be like one that just wants to create good comics. Doesn't want to have any like. He won't attack you on Twitter for your political opinion or anything like that. Especially if you're not even like tagging him in the tweet. He doesn't spend his whole entire day on Twitter, and then only spend some of his day on writing comics. So his comics are always late, and there was a Disney Plus, and then there would be a Disney Plus documentary exposing him for not doing his work and for making the other co-author do most of the work. So it shouldn't be even co-authored by Dan Slott. Anyways, Heathentown by Karina Sorbenchko with artwork done by Gabriel Hartman. For the longest time, I thought the Crooked Man had released and never did. So I was always like, oh, I don't have everything by him. And, come on, brain, kick in. You just did the Crooked Man. And the Crooked Man always said it was out of stock, so I always thought it was, oh, okay, come back in stock soon, or it's just out of print. But no, it's just literally out of print in the fact that they don't have it never released. But Amazon had it before it got canceled, Amazon was like, oh, pre-order it, and then it came out and it was like, oh, no, out of print. They've done it several times. That's how Amazon works. They don't really have, I guess they don't have a direct link to, or a direct phone line to Image Comics, where they are in other comic publishers, where they say, hey, this book is never going to come out, so take it off your website. But this is Heathentown. This is an original graphic novel. This one has, he goes with like death and Florida Everglades, and death in the Florida Everglades and the swamps, and that's all I needed. This was like a really disjointed plot synopsis is all I need to get this book. And of course, it was by an author I really like, Karina Benchko. It was Karina Benchko, or I think it's B.A.C.O. I keep saying Benchko. It's B.A.C.O. It's B-E-C-H-K-O. So B.A.C.O. Karina B.A.C.O. and Gabriel Hartman both wrote that Planet of the Apes book I really liked. They also did a Green Lantern Green Lantern Earth 1 series I really like too. So they're good. In my book, they're like unbeatable authors. So I have to support them when I can. But as of now, I have everything they've done for Image Comics. The only other thing is Invisible Republic. And then there's a one-shot, The Belfry, which you can't find on the Amazon Kindle anymore. I find that very weird. Like, I don't think I got rid of it, so to where I can't have it on the... I can't even read the version I have, like the Kindle comic I have. I'm pretty sure I can. But it was weird. Alright, so Heathentown. Original graphic novel. Now on to another series I've read before, and I liked so much about myself, regardless of the fact... Well, there's technically this one... the writer, he's done something else for Image, so I need to get this one if I want to get everything else done for Image. So it wasn't completely breaking that rule. But that series is Scales and Scoundrels, volumes 1 and 2. Scales and Scoundrels, Volume 1, Into the Dragon's Maw, collects 1 through 5 of Scales and Scoundrels. That's the artwork. Written by Sebastian Gerner with art by Galaad. It's G-A-L-A-A-D. This is definitely a all ages book. There's hardly anything in here that wouldn't give them a P. We would never give them above. I mean, there's hardly anything in here that would be above at least a PG rating. I'd almost say G. This is very kid-friendly, but not, like, insultingly so. Like, anyone can read this book. I bet if they added some curse words to this, a lot more people will be reading this book, wouldn't buy the series. But because it's for kids, yeah, I understand. Like, save your money and you get these books instead that you know about, and you don't get the game. If you have like it's not like I only get books that are very mature or rated up. But again, I understand. Like, you're not going to waste your money on a kid's book when you don't have as much money to spend on books anyways. But this one is definitely one I recommend, though, regardless. And then it's Volume 1. Oh, sorry, I said it. And Volume 2, Treasure Hearts, collects 6 to 10 of Scales and Scoundrels. Yet again, written by Sebastian Gerner and drawn by Gayland. I'm going to say Gayland. Now, this series was never finished by Image Comics, at least. If you want the complete edition, I would recommend getting the TKO published, the trades published by TKO Publishing. I would even say get it on the Kindle because each trade is 10 issues in a trade for $4. Last I checked, it was still that. And I actually think that was their not even on sale price. It was their actual their list price. Now, if you want it physically, you're gonna have to get I would say get the TKO Publishing book still. They still have it as a physical trade. Now, when I get this, if I have the books in the Kindle and it's the whole entire series, I just wanted it physically. And I didn't want to get a TKO Publishing book. I wanted to have the Image Comics printing. So I got the whole entire series on the Kindle. Then I got the physical books here. It's not complete, but still the physical books through Image. Yeah, it's 20 issues total. Two 10-issue trades. Next up, we have a series that I'm kind of disappointed with already, and that is La Voz de M.A.Y.O. TATA RAMBO. Now, why am I disappointed with it? Because half this trade is back matter. I would almost say that half this trade is not an over-exaggeration at all. Now, because this is based off a true story, it does make sense, and honestly, it's not that much back matter. But it's 80 pages of book, and so the book itself is... Say I have a table of contents. The book itself is 120 pages, I would say. Yeah, 120 pages total. And this much, so it's 8, so it is almost half the book is back matter. No, it's like 40 pages back matter. But it's just one of those things I was like, kind of annoying, because you wanted to trade, you probably wanted to charge us the full $16.99 cover price. So you thought, how do I do that? Oh, let's put some back matter in here. But, however, because this is based off a true story, all the back matter seems to be his research, like his research method and showing the real newspaper clippings. It's Spanish, so I can't translate it, I don't think. Let's see. It's also very small print, too. No, it's not. One of them isn't. Well, that's not in... No, yeah, so this right here is all in a foreign language. You can't, and there's no deciphering of it, is there? Maybe there is. I don't know. Back. This is written by Henry Barajas with artwork done by Jay Gonzo. And that's it. It's no colorist. I assume it's the same guy. It is weird how sometimes, even if it's not in black and white, obviously, they will still say, they won't say colorist, it's also this guy. They'll say artist. I want to say that in them both. I showed the artwork for Heathentown, right? I know I did. Come on now. I know I did. Next book up is Helm, Graycastle, yet again written by Henry Barajas, with artwork done by color artist is Brian Valenza, and the penciler is Ramat M. Handoga. This collects all 4 issues of the series, plus a bonus story, which is just a role-playing game instruction manual little thing. I thought it was an actual story, but no, it's just the little role-playing thing. RPG, if you want to do an RPG for this comic series. Cool, if you're into that stuff, but it's just a waste of page numbers for me. But there we go. Here's the artwork for this book. Looking 1 through 4 of this series. Next up, we have another two-volume series, that being Death Jr. Volume One, and Death Jr. Volume 2. This one I only got because it was written by Gary Whitta. I really liked Gary Whitta's Batman Fortress, and because I've been getting nothing by Image, I was like, hey, what else he's done for Image besides the one other book I knew he did? And I was like, oh, Death Jr., alright. And even then I was like, yeah, I can hold off on that one. I don't really want that one. But I decided to bite the bullet at the end of the day and get this book. Now this one only collects, each trade only collects 3 issues of their respective series. Volume 1 is Death Jr. collecting Death Jr. Volumes 1, Death Jr. Volume 1 collects Death Jr. Volume 1 and 1 through 3, and Death Junior Volume 2 collects Death Junior Volume 2, 1 through 3. Obviously, that means that each issue is a little bit has a higher page count than your average comic trade. Each issue collects more pages than your average comic issue does. This is written by Gary Whitta with artwork done by Ted Naifeh. It's Naifeh. And here's the artwork for Death Junior. 1 through 3. And Volume 2 is 1 through 3. Now, this is a good example of why I really don't like half-price books. Yeah, I did pay used very good, but there's blemish shit. It's really kind of like, nothing deal-breaking. I wasn't pissed when I opened it. I wasn't ready to do a half-price books rant video. But it's also a good example of why I do keep getting books from them. It's because, other than that, it's impeccable. There's no real way of knowing this is used very good. And I'll do like a very slow flip-through of this book. There's still no way of knowing that this book was used. And that's a good example of maybe it's not used. Maybe every book that says used very good wasn't that someone had read it before you. It just means that it was at a comic shop before, but it kind of got damaged. They can't say used like new. They have to say used very good. There's no option for technically it's not used. No, it's just that's what we had to say. In fact, there's a third-party seller called Caring About Stuff. Their used good book is not like there's nothing wrong with the used good book I got from them. Like it could just as easily have passed off as used very good. But they said, it was at a comic shop, and as people were cycling through comics, this got moved around a little bit. That's all they meant to say. All that they had said. There's some of them they gave like an actual description to. Some of them, most of the time they don't though. It's kind of annoying. And it's actually based off there's also a video game. I found it pretty fun. I found it pretty cool. If my DS still technically worked, I would consider getting that DS game. I think it was expensive though. I would get the Wii game, but I don't have a Wii. But I play it with my cousin's house, but that's a waste of money. If I don't have it, if I had a 360 game, I'd get that. Oliver 1 through 4. It's just Oliver. It's just Gary Whitta and Derek Robertson's Oliver. Gary Whitta doing the writing and Derek Robertson doing the artwork. He says yes. This is based off of the Charles Dickens classic character, but obviously taking their own spin on it. It is a post-apocalyptic version of Oliver. And my main selling point for this book I haven't read yet. Mark Millar gave it praise, and that's awesome. That is praise worth giving for. What? How did I say it like that? I don't know. Here's the artwork for Oliver. Need a better page. Better page here. So 1 through 4, collected in here for Oliver. Yeah, I really liked Gary Whitta's Batman book. And also he's the co-writer. He was a writer for Rogue One Star Wars story and the Book of Eli. So there you go. And hey, everything they credit Derek Robertson for, I've read. That was good. That was really good. And so far, this is good. I've only read the first volume so far. First omnibus. Almost through the first omnibus. But I read that first omnibus like a while back. I read it, but as far as rereading it goes, years later, yeah, I'm almost halfway. I would say a little bit more halfway done. Yeah, actually halfway done. Exactly halfway done. Anyways, next up is 24 Panels. This is an original graphic novel. This one is another example of one I wasn't really super crazy about, but it's supporting a cause that I think is really noble of them to do. There's a Grenfell fire, a Grenfell Tower fire back in 2017, and a bunch of writers and artists came together that lived in the UK, came together to commemorate the losses and to also support the survivors who are going through PTSD because of that fire. I think that's a really noble thing to do, because every last cent went to those people, went to those little charities. And I think that's very noble of them to do. And they'll do this every now and then, like for comic book legal defense fund that was like supporting comics in general, and that's what all the profits went to. Is again, and a bunch of people came together, wrote short stories for an anthology, and all the funds all the profits went to support comics. I think it's very noble of them to do. Yeah, again, saying that same word. And here's the artwork. I'm just gonna show it for one part of this book. But I don't remember any stories standing out, to be fair, but there's a lot of good names in here. So Alex Ewing writes his Image Comics debut, makes his Image Comics debut here. We got Dan Waters, Ron V, I know Kieran Gillen. Bunch of good writers. And some I don't recognize. Now, why is it called 24 panels? Well, each author gets 24 panels to write their own story. And actually, I think some of these weren't they written by, like, some of the survivors or something like that? I could be wrong, but there's some unknown writers here. I think that was, like, yeah, some people just decided to, like, you know what? You can write a story for this anthology. I wonder if any of them went on to have successful comic book careers. And last, but certainly not the least, is Madame Mirage, written by Paul Dini, with artwork done by Kenneth Rocaford, collecting 1 through 6 of this series. I just realized I'd be an idiot. Sorry, I know. So this Paul Dini is obviously a supremely great author. It's one of those books where I didn't even need to look up anything he had done. It was just, yeah, I'm an idiot. So that text that you heard was my dad saying, I'm going to the doctor's appointment, then they'll come back and I'm going to do compost. And I realized, and I heard him downstairs, and I was like, shit, he's back already? I'm an idiot. He was bringing the dog back, because he took the dog with him wherever he went before, probably the compost. I'm a moron. Thankfully, I wasn't going to have to rush or anything like that. Yeah, I was too far into this video for me to be like, I'm going to quit it and then do another cut. No. Hell no. 41 minutes thus far. Nice. So going back to Madame Mirage. This series, the author, Paul Dini, is just such a damn good writer. He's on Gotham City Sirens. I loved that. That was probably one of my favorite reads this year. Top 10 already for this year. And yes, I will, because I've been organizing them, I will at the end of the year do a worst to best of all the books I've read. And then I'll do a video itself doing top 10. And I will not include rereads. And yeah, okay, Gotham City Sirens, the next time I go to the library, it will then be a reread. But I read it for the first time this year, so I still count it as a book I read this year, obviously. But it's so damn good I had to read it, like, only a few months later. But anyways, back to Madame Mirage. So the artwork art is done by Kenneth Rocaford. Here is the artwork. And it's one of those books that I didn't know Paul Dini had done anything for Image. And I'm just happening to be getting Image books anyway, so I was like, you know what, let's get this. He also did 2 one-shots for Jingle Bell, and to B-E-L-L-E, like the name Bell, like a May-Bell. And he had done a story for Creepshow. So, there you go. I don't know why I said it like that. So if you want to get anything from Image, you gotta get those 3. The Madame Mirage series, all these are on the Kindle, by the way. Individual trade or individual issue. So Madame Mirage, Creepshow, one little story in the Creepshow anthology, in the Creepshow miniseries, and then Jingle Bell, 2 one-shots from Jingle Bell. What's really weird about Jingle Bell is that it's an actual series he's done. Like, it seems to be all written by Paul Dini, but it moved from Image to IDW. And it wasn't one of those things where the entire series was Image. No, it started out with those 2 one-shots, and then the rest of the series was, which makes sense, because I guess it was one-shots and ongoing, and the ongoing series was written by IDW. Makes sense. But something like Paul Dini couldn't get that okay by Image, he had to move to IW. Maybe they paid him more, I don't know. There's several reasons why people move from one publisher to the next. But, only one that makes sense to me is moving from DC to Image, because DC won't give you as much money for it. But even then, it's going to be a pain in the bitch to get, because Image Comics is like, yeah, whatever. Because it's creator-owned, they get to do whatever they want with their series. But DC Comics is like, you gotta sign this contract, and there's so much fine print that it's not even worth moving your book from one publisher to the next. But someone's done it. Garth Ennis has a series that the soft cover anyways, I believe, is through Image, and it's a complete collection, too. It's all in one. It's 2 series, actually, it was that. But that, as I say, is that. 17 trades total. I didn't. Now, I'm going to go over it just one more time. I'm not going to go over any of the issues that I collect or how I felt about them. I'm just going to show them off. Kind of as a, what do you call it? Come on. Speed run. Gabriel Hardman writes and draws Kinski. OG. You know what, screws. I know how many issues each book collects. OGN, and I really like this book. Recommend. Scurry, Max Smith, written and drawn. Another high recommend. I know, why would you buy it if, why wouldn't you buy it if you didn't like it? Or why would you buy it if you didn't like it? Well, Outpost Zero. Outpost Zero, written by Sean Kiever, with artwork done by Alexandre Tefenki. And here's the artwork for that series. A Haunted Girl, written by Ethan Naomi Sachs, with artwork done by both Andres Massa, who's a colorist, and the artist is Marco Lorenzana. And I can say anything about the series, I haven't read it yet, but the author is pretty damn good. There you go. Arcade Kings, written and drawn by Dylan Burnett, and then here's all the colorists. I'm just going to show the page. I'm not going over all those names again. That's a good thing about this being a video, is that I can just show the credits page, and then here's the artwork. These are just in case I have to do anything. Rhino Sullivan writes in plaid close colors and draws. A Void Trip, collecting 1 through 5 of Void Trip. 1 through 4 of Haunted Girl, by the way. And 1 through 5 of Arcade Kings. Antioch, written by Patrick Kindlin, with artwork done by Marco Ferrari, collecting 1 through 4 of Antioch. Here's the artwork for it. Heathentown, written by Chris Benchko, with artwork done by Gabriel Hardman, original graphic novel. Here's the artwork for that series. Scales and Scoundrels, Volumes 1 and 2, collecting 10 out of 20 issues, but all 10 issues that came out from Image, at least. There's not even, like, you may look up Sebastian Gerner on Image Comics, you only get Shirtless Bear Fighter. So, written by Sebastian Gerner, artwork done by Gaylad. Yeah, sorry, here's the artwork again. I don't know why I didn't do it. That's what my brain works. I know I've done something, but my brain is still like, but did you, though? Lavos M.A.Y.O. TATA RAMBO is an original graphic novel. And here's the artwork for it. Written by Henry Barajas. Artwork done by Jay Gonzo. Helm Graycastle, Book 1. Here's the artwork for it. Written again by Henry Barajas, with artwork, color artist being Brian Valenza, penciler being Ramatat M. Handoko. Now, when I show the artwork for Volume 2 of a series, well, because most of the time, I would say half the time, no, I would say 70% of the time, the artist stays consistent. Death Jr., Volume 1, written by Gary Whitta and Ted Nefe. Same as Volume 2. I'm pretty sure. Yes. Same exact creative team, Volume 2. Volume 1 collects 1 through 3, and Volume 2 collects Volume 2's 1 through 3. They didn't just do 4 through 6. Here's the artwork for that series. Oliver, written by Gary Whitta, but this time the artwork is done by Garrick Robertson. So the artwork's better. Collecting 1 through 4 of Oliver. I'm sure that Death Jr., they wanted the artwork to be that kind of more cartoony style. I'm sure, but kind of weird. 24 panels written by Various and drawn by Various, but notable names being Al Ewing, Kieran Gillen, Alan Moore, who says, I'm going to mention that one, and Dan Waters, and Ron V, among many others. And finally, last but not least, Mirage by Paul Dini, with artwork by Kenneth Rockerford, collecting all 6 issues of this miniseries. I'm going to double check to make sure that... Oh, sorry, colors is done by Imaginary Friends Studios. Okay. But with Kenneth Rockerford and Blonde on issue 1. So there you go. There's a reason to stick around. You got colorist ones. I just assumed it was just Kenneth Rockerford, but I should not assume that. And that, as I say, is that. 17 trades this month. No hardcovers, unfortunately. but none of them being books that I would have been like, oh, I could have done this instead. And that's kind of like, it's kind of good for me, I would say. Like, yeah, okay, instead of getting Antioch, I could have gotten this series instead, but I wanted to get Antioch, and to say, basically be a hypocrite and say, no, I won't get Antioch because the whole Image Comics anthology. Well, you didn't get, well, you got Brendan Fletcher's books, and he's done the same amount of book for Image Comics anthology. Now, I'll still be the same way for Jeff Johns, because that's what I'm gonna get, the Image Comics anthologies, when I get the Jeff Johns lots. I mean, but that's a long time coming. And also Jeff Johns has the 2,000 ongoing series from Image Comics right now, and to waste money on the trades that are out right now and also get the Image Comics anthology, that's a lot of money to put down. But that, as I say, yet again, is that. Almost an hour-long video. I think I said enough.